When you think of the word mysticism, what images come to your mind? If you're like most people, you might think of something like this, or this, or maybe even this.
Many people think of mystics as members of a strange and somewhat magical clan that has been extinct for thousands of years. In reality, however, varying forms of mysticism are still practiced today by millions of people around the world. In fact, the beginning of our mystical journey could be much closer than you think. Welcome to the Naqshbandiya Nazmiya Sufi order. This group meets every Saturday night in the back room of a church on 28th Street in downtown Manhattan.
Sufism is known as the mystical branch of Islam. While all Muslims believe that they will become closer to Allah after death, Sufists are unique in that they believe in the possibility of becoming closer to Allah in this life by performing a set of precise ceremonies and rituals. These rituals, which include elements such as private prayer, a spinning dance known as Sena, and the simple repetition of God's name, are intended to bring the practitioner into an almost transcendental state.
Allahu Allah Hakka Allahu Allah Hakka Allahu Allah Hakka Allahu Allah Hay Allahu Allah Hay Allahu Allah Hay Allah Hay
Al-Ghazali, one of the most important Muslim theologians in history, attempts to describe the feeling of participating in a Sufist ritual in his famous text, The Rescuer from Error. From the very first step of the mystic way, enlightenment and visions begin. The mystics even see the angels and the spirits of the prophets when they are awake, hearing their voices and deriving benefit from them. Then, the mystical state progresses from the level of visions of images and similitudes. On the whole, it all concludes with a kind of proximity to God, which one group represents, imaginatively almost as a transfiguration, while another group represents it as a union, and yet a third group as an attainment. Sheikh Sulaiman Diomande, who leads the New York Sufi Center, explains what this state feels like for him.
Until you can feel it. Feel it with all your senses. Meaning you will see, you will hear, and you can feel it and you can smell it. That's what experience is about in spirituality.
To outsiders and those not familiar with the Sufists, these rituals might seem strange, even pointless. How could these repetitive chants lead to a spiritual experience? As Sheikh Diomandi explains, you have to experience it for yourself if you want to truly understand it.
If you see something that you didn't go through, you didn't feel it, it will be difficult for you to explain. It doesn't matter how somebody is going to explain to you about hunger, but if that person has never felt it or never through it, it will be impossible.
These songs, verses, and rituals are as beautiful as they are ancient. Regardless of your own personal religious beliefs, as you sit cross-legged on a rug chanting a single word over and over, and you look around to see dozens of people from many different backgrounds who have come together to pray as a community, you feel that you are part of something much bigger than yourself.
But Sufism is not the only form of mysticism practiced today. There are mystical elements in all three major monotheistic religions: Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. How are spiritual experiences different across these religions? How are they the same?
Sister Shannon Casey, a missionary sister of the Sacred Heart of Jesus at St. Francis Xavier Cabrini Shrine in Washington Heights, New York, explains what a spiritual experience feels like for her.
Do your breathing, get settled, center yourself, and then give my consent to God for God's action. I may not feel anything, I may not sense anything, but by giving my consent for the Holy Spirit to work in me in this time of prayer. So even if I'm breathing in, be still, and then breathing out, I am God.
Clearly, the method that Sister Shannon describes is quite different from the Sufi rituals we saw. But when you think about it, what is the goal of this prayer? When she describes clearing her mind, slowing her breathing, and centering herself, she is trying to enter a state that is very similar to the one that Sheikh Diomandi describes, and a state that Al-Ghazali describes in Rescuer from Error.
A state may arise that bears the same relation to your waking state as your waking state does to your dream state. By comparison to that state, your waking state would be like sleep. If such a state were to occur, you would become certain that all the things conjured up by your reason were inconsequential imaginings.
When it comes down to it, mysticism is not as strange or exotic as most people think. It merely describes the rituals, the practices, and the ideas that people have as to how to find a deeper meaning in life. Every human being is, at a certain level, trying to find meaning. People have varying ideas as the best way to do this. It is not surprising that different methods of doing so developed in different areas of the world. But in all of these varying and diverse methods, the same desire can be found.
The way all those, whether it's Muslim, Christian, Jewish, or Buddhist, they all have the same goal, is to take one individual from his animalistic stature to an angelic level.
What you were experiencing with them just calling Allah, 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 or Om, Om, which is a lot of what people are doing. They're trying to connect with the holy, you want to call it, whatever we call it, God, Allah, the universe, the creator of the universe, the power, the love in the universe. We all want to be in connection with that.